Welcome to Soul Knowledge. I'm your host, Rocky K of Tune Into Wellness. We are souls having a human experience, and this podcast is where we remember that. Your soul has lived lifetimes. It has a history, a purpose, and a wisdom that goes deeper than anything your mind can analyze. My work through Reiki, hypnotherapy, past life regression, subconscious healing, and intuitive transformation is to help you not just learn about your soul, but to actually know it. Here I'll be sharing real stories from real sessions, lessons from the unseen, and truth telling about what healing really looks like. The messy, mystical, holy, human, sometimes hilarious, often uncomfortable, absolutely life-changing parts of it all. And I'll warn you now, if you don't like the honest language or the occasional well-placed F-bomb, this is not the podcast for you. Because sometimes the most spiritual thing you can say is, fuck this, I'm done repeating this pattern. So let's take a breath. Tune in. Let go of what you think you know. And let's drop into the wisdom your soul's been trying to give you all along. Welcome home. Welcome to Soul Knowledge. Hello and welcome back to the Soul Knowledge Podcast. This is Rocky with Tune Into Wellness. And today I am super excited. I have Tiffany Williams with the Self-Love Portal here as our guest. And we are going to be talking about all sorts of fun things from plant medicine. But really, I wanted to introduce her because she helps women end sabotage and self-abandonment and reconnect to their voice, to their intuition. And so, Tiffany, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Why don't you just start by giving yourself a little introduction and give a little more background on what you do and how you kind of came to this space?
Hey everyone, it's Tiffany. How did I get here? Well, I was in the military for 13 years. I worked for the federal government for 5 years as an intelligence analyst in both the military and government. Most of my job was centered in precision, pattern recognition, data collection, critical analysis, counterintelligence. And so it was a very fast-paced environment. I worked in targeting. I worked as a targeting analyst. I've deployed to combat zones. And so most of my life was centered in that identity of being the person who has information, being the person who can make rapid decisions and critically think my way through pretty much anything. And after years of doing that, I just started to feel like I wanted to do something else. I grew up singing and writing and creating, which wasn't very different in the military. I was a writer in the military as well. Most of the writing and reporting was similar, a very strategic focus. So I did love that part of it. I liked putting things together. I liked the investigative pieces of the military and just walking down that path of having this greater sense of belonging. And I just found that my purpose was greater than what I was doing. And so I began to just ask myself questions, move towards wellness because I was starting to really feel burnt out by what I was doing. And I just didn't feel very aligned to how the mission dictated like a lot of my life and what I was doing. And so in a spiritual awakening, I found myself questioning a lot of things about where I was and where I wanted to go. And so I did a lot of soul searching, a lot of therapy. I took some time off. I traveled a lot. I've been to 31 countries, like mostly by myself. And so, in the quest to find more peace and more belonging and more purpose, I was life coaching. I got a master's in lifestyle management and wellness. And that really opened me up to see like how unwell I was actually living. And so after finishing my master's, I really wanted to pursue coaching women. That was also a part of the graduate program. And so I started coaching on the side, and for a while I felt like an imposter. And so I went and got another certification. And after that certification, I was kind of like, okay, well, what do I want to do with this? Like, do I want to coach and still be in the military? And honestly, The way I got out of the military was very quiet. I didn't really tell anybody how I got out of the military. I just kind of just vanished. But basically, the day of my reenlistment, the paperwork was not correct. I don't know how. It's the military. Paperwork is always paperwork, you know?
Oh, yeah.
How, even though I turned it in 6 months in advance, actually a year in advance. And then at the 6 month point, they said, hey, you need to redo this. So I redid it. And the day of my reenlistment, they're like, hey, you can't reenlist because this is missing. And I'm just like, well, my ETS the day I get out of the military is Sunday and it was a Friday. And I'm like, well, how am I going to do this? Like, is there someone else who can fix this paperwork in time of my ETS? They're like, no one's going to be able to fix this. So I was super crushed. Like, what do you mean I'm not going to reenlist? So yeah, I took that really hard and they're like, well, don't worry. Once it goes through the system and you're actually separated from the military, like the paperwork has to go through. And then once the paperwork goes through, you can get a separation ID and then you can get back in. Okay. So I was super bummed after they told me like, hey, just wait for the separation to go through. It was going to take 30 to 60 days and 30 to 60 days went by. So then it was 5 months. And after that 5 months, I got in touch with the recruiter I was working with because I was trying to transfer to a whole new unit. And when I spoke with her, she was like, oh, I finally got your separation ID, but, you know, I think your paperwork is going to expire, your medical paperwork. I was like, no, I still have 30 days. She was like, well, by the time I get in touch with this other command, it's going to expire. And I'm like, well, what do I do after that? She was like, well, I'm not sure. And then I just never heard back from her. And then after it expired, they were like, hey, you can go to MEPS. I'm like, what? MEPS? MEPS, like when you join the military? When you join the military, you have to go through processing called MEPS. And that's basically them qualifying you to be in the military as if you'd never been in. And I was like, what? I am not starting over. I am not going to MEPS. I have 13 years in. No. So I was resistant. Like, I was just like, I'm not starting from scratch. Like, I'm not going through MEPS. I'm not doing that. Like, how do you not have my paperwork? And I spoke to multiple people and it just was not happening. So that was the third time I had tried. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to be in the military anymore. This is it. I'm done. Because you know what? It was hard enough for me to get the paperwork to try to get this transfer. And then these three things happen, these two things happen. And I'm like, this has to be a sign. Like this has never been an issue. Your reenlistment comes, you reenlist and you just keep rolling with it. And this time it was a big hiccup and I just really couldn't ignore the hiccup. And so I was super bummed and I just took it for what it was. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to be in the military anymore because I refused to start over. And that's what it was. I continued to work in the government and, people were asking me questions like, why aren't you in? And I'm just like, I don't even want to talk about it. I couldn't get into it because I was just really sad. But it was honestly a blessing in disguise looking at what is happening right now in the world. I am so glad that I'm not in the military because I probably wouldn't be here because I have a critically manned position and I'm pretty sure they'd probably send me somewhere that's not here. And so I'm actually really glad that I did not get to reenlist. And so here I am.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here now too. So, wow. Okay, so you had to totally pivot from the military. So, tell me a little bit more about this pivot and what brought you into helping women.
Yeah. And so I continued to work for the government. And on the side, I was like, I really want to do life coaching full time. I have a passion for helping women just like me. And I spoke to my husband. I said, hey, I don't want to work in this job anymore. I really would like to pursue this job, like just building my own company, building my own business and coaching. And I had wanted to do this since 2020. Like right after I moved back to the States from Kuwait, I wanted to not work for government, but I was just like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And so after I got my degree, I was like, well, it's not time. I can't do it right now. And the timing was just lining up for me to make a transition. And so, on the support of my husband, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go. And so we made a plan, and yeah, the time started passing. And at first I wanted to just leave right away. And I was like, no, no, let me stack up some cash. Let me finish out what I'm working on. And, I want to leave it, and I want to leave my position and good spirits. Like, and I just want to leave and have it cleared and not have to worry about anything. And so by the time that came around, it was like March last year, this time last year. And the government came out with a program, the deferred resignation program. And so they pay you to leave, and they pay you through the fiscal year to leave. So I was like, oh, so I was going to leave anyway, but you're going to pay me to like the rest of the fiscal year. I'll see you guys later. Here's my 2 weeks. I'm out. And that's what I did. I took the DRP and took my money, and I left. And I thought like, oh, I'm going to jump right into it. No, I did not jump right into it. I took probably 4 months off of just doing nothing. I was trying to do things in the middle of that, but also like I'm so exhausted from a lot of programming and conditioning of like, go, 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 let's be fast, let's get this done yesterday, just being in the mindset of urgency and strategy and just not really feeling into my body. And I thought I was going to be super productive because I was a person who thought that my worth was in my work. And so not working, I was like, what do I do? So just me doing nothing for 4 months. And I knew I wanted to work with sound. And so I started looking for a sound healing certification. And I took the sound healing certification. And during that sound bath, I think it was my first sound bath. During that sound bath, I went into the deepest meditation and met with my ancestors again. And they were like pouring out blessings to me and saying, like, this is it. We fully support this. This right here, this is where you belong, and this is what you're gonna do. And I had already like met with them before, so I knew for sure it was them. Like, this is your blessing, this is it. And also, like, when I was going through that certification, I never felt so at home. Like, I felt safe in my body. I felt safe to be around people who wanted to do the same thing I was doing, and just connecting with instruments, connecting through the frequencies, and like feeling like I could time travel with frequencies. I was like, okay, this is it. This is the thing. And I got the certification, and I still had no idea what I was doing. And so I joined a mentorship program with a coach who has played at Carnegie Hall. She was a symphony artist, and she was an excellent coach. And she also was offering the business side of things. So I went through her mentorship and coaching, and now here I am integrating the coaching that I learned 3 years ago, the sound healing through her. And I also got certified as a Reiki master. And so I'm integrating all of these different modalities to create something where I can help women just feel safe in their bodies, because for the longest time, I didn't. For the longest time, I was in the logical mind, processing things, trying to figure things out, trying to talk my way through things, intellectual capacity times a million, just trying to figure things out. And it's like the body is not something to be figured out. It's something to be felt. And with sound, that really connected me to my body, because sound is resonance. Sound is the second sense you get, and it's the highest sense in the womb. You hear 10 times stronger when you're in the womb. And sound is also the last thing to leave your body. So we connect through sound, we heal through sound. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I want to be a part of this. And so that also connected me to light language. I had been speaking for 10 years, and I was like, okay, how can I use both of these things to help people feel like themselves? I create resonance with my voice and with instruments, and that creates a container of safety, of relaxation, and feeling calm and connected to the body. And so that's how I came here. That's how everything came together. And I've just been practicing and practicing and creating and getting to share my love for sound and music, and also coaching women, because we need to be seen, we need to be witnessed, we need to be heard. And I spent so much time not feeling that way. And so I feel like it's my mission and my purpose to help women feel safe in their bodies, to connect to their bodies and know that the body is leading everything you are unraveling in your life. The body's always speaking.
Yeah, I love that. So, like, when we're talking about like our voice and like using our voice, just to speak up, right? Like, what does reconnecting to your voice actually look like beyond like just essentially speaking up? Like, what does that look like for you?
For me, it was somatic coaching, somatic vocal coaching specifically. So, connecting to the body and connecting to the deep space in the body, the fertile void of the body where thinking is not happening. You're connecting to how you feel inside your body. Is there tension? Is there ease? And in connecting to the pelvic bowl, which is also connected to the voice, I found this sense of safety and flow where I didn't have to think. I would just feel into the void, feel into that space. And then feeling into that space, the safety created this portal for me to open my voice, to open and be witnessed. And then connecting to my voice, since I already was speaking light language, I began to understand what I was saying, what I was connecting to, and how this instrument can be a powerhouse for healing. And once I started just not only speaking my truth to myself with like mirror work, with affirmations, with writing music, with just not being afraid to say what needs to be said, instead of rehearsing it in my head over and over again and ruminating, I would either write it or speak voice notes. I would say my voice notes, I would sing my voice notes and play it back to myself and just get used to hearing what I sound like and not feeling so cringy because I spoke up for myself. And therapy and being in community with other women who are doing the same thing, specifically like working with a vocal coach who helps me unravel those parts of me and doing parts work too. That was a huge part of it because parts work not forces, but helps you navigate to those parts of you that may have felt abandoned, may have felt not heard, and then just nurturing those different parts of myself, the little 6-year-old Tiffany who knew she wanted to be a singer, who knew she wanted to be on stages, who knew with certainty, with conviction that this is what I want to do. And in connecting to that part of me, I just opened my throat chakra and connecting to that part of me invited play, invited pleasure, invited joy, invited laughter, and being able to be silly and giddy and whimsical with that part of me just opened me up to being the big kid. My husband's a big kid and he's always invited me to be a big kid with him. Like, don't take stuff so seriously, you know? And so we're just two big kids. And connecting to the inner child is really how I revived my voice, recovered my voice.
I love that. And I mean, I am a big on play and finding that like little girl in us, and doing the things that she would want to do can be really healing, and that's why I have my girls' night out with the sheets and the fairy lights. Like for me, like that's like fun, girly, like, pulling at that inner girl for me and just being able to relax because you think about when we were kids, it was so carefree, right? And so relaxing. And so it's so beautiful to have, opportunities as an adult to like turn it all off and have fun and just relax because that's I mean for me, like I ask the girls when they come in for girls night out, like, where's your battery at the beginning, and then I ask them at the end. I like to see that it charges them, gives them that juice that it makes life a lot easier, right? And when we're doing the play and the fun, like, and everybody's play and fun is different. Just like you say, like that singing, like that little girl that wanted to be on stage singing. I think that's beautiful, So, what do you like with women that you work with? Like, how does like self sabotage and self abandonment usually show up before they even realize like it's happening?
Usually in not making time for themselves and being not feeling worthy of the time that they want to set aside for themselves. Like if they say they want to be in better shape and they want to go to the gym, well, I just don't have time for that. And, other people need me. And it's usually someone else needing them and them not realizing that you can't help them without helping yourself first. So if your health is not in check, if you're suffering in your health, how can you be a vessel or a tool for anyone else? And I think a lot of people look at health and wellness as a luxury, and it's an absolute necessity. It's not a luxury to be well. It's your birthright to be well. It's your birthright to live a life where you can take care of yourself, that you can take time off, that you can be in touch with your body, that you can see what's going on, that you have a moment to pause, that you can reflect and be introspective because the more time you spend with yourself, the more you know yourself. And the more you know yourself, the more you can ask for what you need and what you desire. And when you know what you want and desire, you get it, you go for it. And the confidence to do those things starts with knowing your inner being and knowing your worth. And I've seen it show up so many times, and I don't have time, and someone else needs me. And it just seems like it's not a priority. And it's like, when did you become the back burner? When did you not make yourself a priority? And oftentimes we do feel like we should serve other people for ourselves. I know for me, I was in the military. Literally, one of the core values, service before self. I don't agree with that. I can't agree with that. And it's like when you're in it, you don't really pay attention to it. And it starts off really small, little small things to abandon yourself. And then they lead to bigger things like, oh, I'm not going to run to the bathroom because I don't have time. Excuse me? Or like, I can't take a break because it's too busy right now and I'm so thirsty. You need to hydrate. You haven't drank water all day. Did you eat lunch today? Like these small little habits of like, oh, I don't have time or I have to do this first. It's like, no, me first. That was actually my favorite book as a kid, Me First. I don't know how I forgot, but it was a really,
I don't think I've ever read that book. Huh. Okay. Well, that's a good one to read. Give it to all our girls, right?
yeah, it was a really good book. And I definitely forgot about Me First because I got so used to over giving, over explaining, wanting to feel seen, wanting to be included. And when you want to be included and you don't really know yourself, you will over sacrifice, you will over give because you want to be seen, you want to be heard. And for me, I moved around a lot between the military and like movement growing up as a child. I went to 3 different high schools, 2 different middle schools. So like I didn't really have like a home base of friendships. And so I found myself in friendships that didn't really work for me, but I had no boundaries. I wasn't speaking up for myself and I was just kind of going with the flow because if they were here, they were here, like I'd rather have these friends than no friends. And it's like the more and more I got to know myself and create boundaries and really feel into like, what do I actually want? What do I actually need? That created a shift in a lot of friendships. I didn't even know how like I knew I was being a good friend, but I was also taking any friend, any person that would be my friend, even if they mistreated me. And I didn't really notice until one day I was at dinner and it just didn't go well. And it was a group of us. And one of the girls were like, "Are you okay?" Because that person was not talking to you very nicely. And I was like, "Oh, whatever. She's like that." And, maybe she's upset because I'm leaving and this is a big transition. I would make excuses. I would make excuses for people treating me poorly. And that's because I didn't know my worth. And little by little, when I started creating boundaries and understanding that I'm worthy because I exist, it's my inherent worth. Like, there's nothing I need to prove, there's no one I need to be approved, to be worthy. And I suffered a long time feeling unworthy, not feeling like I was worthy of existing, worthy of my own needs. And when that started to dissipate and go into therapy, I just knew that I wanted better for myself. And so it looked like me speaking up for myself. And that was hard. It was really, really hard, but I don't regret it because if I don't ask for what I need, no one else is going to. As much as people say they want to help you get out of something, you are the only one who can actually help yourself. Yes, we are healers and we are illuminators because we have experience, but I'm illuminating what is already there. And I can't make the decisions for you. So how could I be this person for my clients and not be this person for myself? So I had to start with me.
I think that's really, really important for people to put themselves first, right? And I love that you notice that it started as a teenager because I feel like that is where a lot of things happen because we want to conform, we want to feel like we belong somewhere, we want friends. And then we start to shift what we like, even like, I mean, it could be just like simply how we dress. Like we want to be trendy, we want like to not be made fun of even though maybe we really don't like it, but we're like, we want to fit in. And I think that's like so important. People, they want to fit in. Even as adults, we want to fit in. We want to have friends. We want to belong. We don't want to be alone. And so we do so many things and we get these really bad habits as a teenager, to not be authentic, to be, fit the norm or whatever everybody else is doing. And then it cascades as an adult. And then when people come in and they need our help, right? We're like, okay, let's see where this started. And it was like, okay, here it was like when you were 13, that's when you lost yourself. Let's get back to her. Like, let's get back to her. And it's interesting in my line of work too, in hypnotherapy. I have had multiple people like without guidance go back to a moment when they were really young. And when they go back to that moment, I'm like, why did you go here, as a child? And they're like, I think this was the last time I was really happy, that I was really myself. It was before all the stress. It was before the trauma, before the wounds. And that, like now as adults, that's what we're trying to get back to, and that ties back into the play too. We want to go back to that time, before life was hard, before we wanted to fit in, before we needed this sense of belonging. But when we know we're being true and authentic, the right people are going to come along. And as adults, that's a lot easier for us to say and have happen than, a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girl, especially one that maybe moves around, right? And has to find like all new friends every time, every couple of years. And that's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, it is. And it really feeling like that really amplified and revved up my people pleasing and performing. That's when it started. It started very young because when I knew I had a voice for singing, I'm a fourth generation singer, so I knew I could sing. And so when I saw the attention it got me, then I would constantly perform. Because like, okay, they like my voice, they can see me, they can hear me, I will be accepted because I have a good voice. And so you just amplify whatever that talent is. And if you overdo it, it's like, well, who am I without this?
And, you see that a lot in, you say your voice, you think about athletes that get injured, like they have lived and breathed a sport and then they have this, you know, career ending injury. And then you have to figure out who you are without it. And, I'm at the stage in my life too. Like my youngest is about to go to college, and so I'm at this point about like, am I without being this mom? And I guess I've been in that transition anyway, because she's very self-reliant, but it is, we do have these moments and different points in our lives where we have to be like, okay, so who am I? Like, what am I doing? Where am I going? And in your case, like with the work that you do, where did I lose myself? Because I don't even know where I want to go because I don't even know who I am anymore, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. So relatable.
So I know you do really amazing work with women and helping them bring themselves back together. And I think that's really similar to exactly what I do too. So I love that. We need more of us. We need more of us because, you know, women need that empowerment, especially in their voice, and I know you're a Reiki practitioner as well. How often do we see that throat chakra blocked?
Yeah, those are literally every person that comes to me. And it's probably because me. It's the current work that I'm working through. And so, yeah, I actually use my voice to do Reiki. I use Reiki to find the energy and then clear the energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a really unique and very cool gift, to be able to do that. Like, I mean, when you come in, I ain't gonna sing to you for Reiki. Y'all don't want me to, but I will put you in a nice, relaxed meditation and hopefully get you a good nap. But I'm all about a good lullaby, though. Let's be honest here. So I love that you use that voice because I do, even like with the hypnosis that I do, I past life regressions, you can go back to moments in past lives where you have been silenced. And that silence is carried through into other lifetimes. And I love, and I see it so strongly, and I'm sure maybe you do too, and you can confirm so many more women are finding their voice. They are being empowered, and women are supporting women. They are like lifting them up. We're not competing with each other. Like you and I, we do a lot of the same stuff. I don't look at you as a competitor. I look at you as a teammate, right? And I think it's so important for women to look at each other as a teammate. Like we are all trying to rise up together, and get out of this like male dominated, I don't even regimen. And that's what we want to call it, right? And it's not that we don't love our men, because we love our men, you know, but we want the feminine energy going too, like a good balance, right?
Yeah. We need the balance. We need the balance and the restoration of feminine. Every creature on earth is feminine and masculine, but we need an equal balance for it to be divine. And yeah, I just look at this whole world as an orchestra. Everybody has an instrument. And so there's always room at the table for whatever you have because I don't have what you have. Everybody has a unique gift. Everybody has something that's different. I can't do what you do. The universe doesn't move through me like it moves through you because we're all a droplet of the universe. The universe wants us to create. We're here to create. And yeah, no competition ever. Only person I'm in competition with is the version I was before. Maybe.
Amen. Yeah. And even her, she wasn't even that bad, huh?
You know? Yeah, exactly.
She did the best she could. Yeah. So now I know you have dove into plant medicine, and I would love to hear a little bit more about your experience with plant medicine and what actually, how you got into plant medicine.
Yeah, so my first reading with plant medicine was ayahuasca. I went to a retreat in Mexico and it was a beautiful experience. I met with my ancestors. If you don't know what ayahuasca is, it is a plant and it basically opens you to see your soul, to see who you are, to look deep within and heal you. And it's called like the master plant, the grandmother. So very nurturing plant for the physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. And so, in sitting with that medicine, when I sat with it for the first time, I met my ancestors. They greeted me and they were like, just receiving me and showing me like who I was. It gave me emotional healing, mental clarity, spiritual connection, like connecting to them. I had desired to connect to them, but to see my great grandmother, my great great grandmother, my great aunt, to see these powerful women in my presence just taking me in and blessing me and reassuring me of who I am. It was such an amazing experience. And yeah, so with ayahuasca, once you open that door, you can't close it. And also, As I was sitting in the second ceremony, I remembered a vision that I had prior to this, like 2 years prior to my experience at the retreat. I wrote up a vision in my notes of what that day would be like, having no idea that I would do plant medicine. I wrote in my notes, and it was a scene of exactly where we were in the jungle, dressed in white with women, dancing, singing, and connecting to oneness. And I'm like, wait, what? I'd never done this before. And I had notes that wrote out the vision of my ceremony. So I was like, oh, okay, everything is connected. And so, yeah, it was a sacred journey. Ayahuasca usually it lasts from anywhere from 2 to 6 hours. So every experience is going to be different every time you take it, but she's like a grandmother. It's a divine feminine. So she's meeting you where you are. Whatever you're ready to see and ready to heal, that's going to be revealed to you. So the first couple of times it was like, here's this lovely greeting. And then that last time, it was like, okay, well, how much do you want to heal? What parts of you do you want to see? And I saw all of them, back to when I was in a crib as a baby and seeing what was going on around me and seeing where in my lineage the grief was happening, seeing where the abandonment was happening, seeing how I felt in those moments, seeing how the pictures and the imagery of my childhood were building my psyche. That's how deep the medicine will go with you if you allow it, if you surrender to it, to show you who you are, how you got here, what brought you here, and your patterns, your behaviors. How did you get to where you need this healing? That's what the medicine reveals to you. And so, seeing myself as a child, seeing my actions, seeing my reactions, seeing the people I am interacting with. It's like watching yourself on a screen and seeing your role in your whole life. And so, in seeing that, I'm like, wow, it helps me take responsibility for my actions. It helped me stop blaming myself. It helped me stop shaming myself. It helped me release grief. It gave me a clear perspective of who I am outside of everything I do. It gave me perspective of what I want to become and why I came here. And sitting in ceremonies and seeing myself in a different realm and hearing my voice in a different realm and seeing how connected to my voice I am with the non-physical version of me, that made things very clear. That made things, I wouldn't say easier, but it made it easier to integrate what I wanted to accomplish or why I'm here. And so, what is critical about plant medicine is integration, especially with ayahuasca, because it's a very deep, penetrating medicine. It's going to show you a lot about yourself. So, if you hadn't been to therapy, you may need it after that because you're seeing how you got here. And as an adult, sometimes it's hard to have those conversations. Well, imagine having multiple conversations in the span of hours about who you are and how you want to evolve and how you want to do things differently. Imagine reaching into your lineage to see who you are and then coming back and trying to integrate how to shift, how to pivot, how to move forward. And the beautiful thing about medicine as well is if you have addictions, if you have depression, if you have PTSD, if you have anxiety, you will know how you got there. And once you know how you got there, you know how to get out of there. And that's what I really loved about the medicine, just being able to connect to me and to see into myself, to see the inner being, the me without the ego, the me without the baggage, the me without the trauma. Seeing that version of me really helps me wake up to who I actually am.
I mean, that sounds really cool and pretty intense too at the same time. When you were done, like, did you have some help with like integration and everything like this? Because I feel like somebody could go and take that and be kind of left hanging and may even kind of lead more traumatized than anything, you know?
Yeah, honestly, I did not the first time around, I did not have the support that I needed. I felt super abandoned, honestly, but I was able to figure it out and in therapy and also a big dose of mushrooms. Also a big dose of mushrooms. A shamanic dose of mushrooms really did bring me back because I was definitely having a hard time adapting because like you said, it's a very intense experience. And once you see yourself in multiple dimensions in the non-physical you, you're like, well, why am I here? Can I go back to that? You know? And so just coming and making peace with, I chose to be here. I chose this life to evolve, making peace with that, understanding that I don't have to fix everything at once. I can't mess it up. And everything is data. Everything is data. Even if I make a mistake, I still learn something. You know, it really shifts your perspective and not having to beat yourself up, coming into the present moment and just being honest with yourself because you are your greatest resource. No one can tell you more about you than you. It's great to have perspective of how you're behaving and the patterns you hold, but outside of like your closest friends and family, no one knows you. And so to have the confidence and being able to access that part of myself that knows, knows that I'm on track, knows that I'm doing the right thing, knows that no one can judge me but me, you know? And so just having that experience with that medicine. I also did Bufo. Bufo comes from a frog. Bufo is a quicker experience. It's 5-MeO-DMT. And so that ceremony, it's very potent. And that ceremony usually lasts like 45 minutes. And that is a more masculine plant. And so with the feminine, it's loving, it's kind. Bufo is it's like it's not mean. Like you're for me, my experience, I had a great experience. Everybody I know has great experiences, but it's rapid. And so I felt like I left my body and met the divine, met Mother Earth, met all that is, the isness of me. And it was a wild experience, but what that helped me do was see how things were going for me right now. It's a very present, like, how can I be present in this moment? Kind of experience. Like, what am I doing now to change things? Dissolve the ego and all of the ways that you identified yourself with your ego, that just gets ripped away. And you're like, okay, who am I really? This is who I am. Oh, I'm not the conditioning. I'm not the programming. I'm not who everybody thought that I was. Me, I'm actually in charge of all of this. I'm the one creating. There is a higher me that is a non physical version that is orchestrating all of this. And I get to be in this body to experience it and to evolve and to become. And that's why I'm here. And so, in finding myself, like the deeper version of me, the me that knows this sureness, this certainty of my existence, it just really helped me move past depression, move past anxiety, and PTSD is still a thing, but being able to understand how your brain works, how you resolve problems, how you can sit with yourself, actually sitting with yourself and trusting yourself. Yeah, it was huge. The integration with that one wasn't as long. It was quick and it was like, okay, these are the things I need to do because we're here in the present moment. But ayahuasca definitely it's definitely good to have integration because the thing about it, a lot of people don't know about plant medicine. And so if you're trying to explain to someone, hey, I went to a different dimension and saw this version of me, and then I figured out why I did all these things to myself, they're gonna be like, what? What dimension? I don't know where you went, but we're here, you know? So just coming to grips with that, coming to grips with this is reality and I'm creating it, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I think there's a lot of that in spirituality where it's like kind of like I don't know what just happened. I'm not really sure how much I believe this. Like, but damn, it feels real. So like, I kind of gotta like go with this for a minute, right? I've definitely have felt that. Definitely in some of my experiences. I've never done plant medicine. I don't at this point in my life have any intention of doing it. I find it to be really interesting. It's not that I'm opposed to it. I just don't find that to be something for me. I guess I've never been like I don't smoke weed. I've never really have like so it for me. I'm just kind of like I don't know. I'm just gonna see what comes up in my meditation or whatever. So it's definitely so. If somebody were looking to do plant medicine, because just because I don't do it doesn't mean that it's not for people, and it might be something exactly what would be the proper way to find somebody that will help them? I mean, because like you said, your first experience, they kind of left you hanging. Like, I think that could be really traumatizing. So, do you have like any tips or anything that would help people find somebody legit?
Yeah, I would do your research. A lot of people will say they're shamans, but they're not actually shamans. They don't know the medicine. Like, for instance, asking like how much experience do you have with the medicine? How long have you been doing this for? Do you make your medicine? What tribe are you connected to? How do you make your medicine? Because if they can't answer those questions, I would go the other way. If someone doesn't know what plants go into ayahuasca, then that's a red flag. I mean, having a relationship with the medicine shows you how to navigate. The medicine shows you how to create space. And so having a relationship with the medicine, that's number one. Like how many years have you sat with the medicine or how long have you been doing this for? And when I met my shaman, she has 17 years of experience. She's been doing this for a very long time. She also makes her own medicine. She goes to Peru to do it. So there is no like in between or not knowing. And yeah, she's been a mentor for me. She has held space for me multiple times. I've sat in multiple ceremonies with her and just, having conversations before you actually want or are interested in the medicine. Also, the medicine will call you. That's how it works. Like, I knew I was going to do ayahuasca 2 years before I even knew I was going to do ayahuasca. I didn't even know what the plant was, but I had a vision about it. And I mean, these are tools for healing, but the integration is really critical. You have to know that this medicine is not the answer. You are the answer. You are the solution. You are the blueprint. The medicine will help you wake up to remember, but it's not a tool to just partake in for pleasure or recreational. That's not the purpose of the medicine. The medicine is to heal. The medicine is to transform, and the medicine called me. And in learning about the medicine, you learn how to integrate doing those things without the medicine. So being able to meditate with a clear mind and clear space, that was not happening for me before. My mind would just be logical overload, overthinking. And so meditation was like, okay, what project am I going to work on now for this meditation? And that's not meditation. There is no project. The only thing you could focus on is breathing. And for me, the first time I did plant medicine, there was a quiet in my brain. And I'm like, so peaceful here. Like immediately after I did the medicine, I was like, it's so quiet and I can enjoy and I can see my thoughts. I can see when a thought is raising up to try to take me on an adventure. I can see that I don't have to get in that car and drive with that thought. I can stop it right there. Control of all of those things. If it's something I don't want to keep thinking, I can let it go. I can release it and move on to something else, you know? So yeah, being able to know that the medicine is a tool and once you learn the tool, you integrate in your life and how to do that day to day.
So I have a question, and I don't know a lot about even shamans. Um, I actually realized as you're talking, I was like, okay, maybe I don't really know. Really, do all shamans work with plant medicine, and is that
No, not all of them. Shamans are spiritual advisors, spiritual teachers, helping you navigate your spiritual world, your work in the world, helping you journey through your soul. Not all of them do that. A lot of them hold space. A lot of them do somatics. Some people do journey with the medicine. Some people don't. They're really just helping you in your life and your life path, your soul purpose. They do a lot of the things that you do, actually. It's just the tradition and the culture around that name comes with the responsibility and comes with knowledge and education and experience.
Okay, that is what I thought a shaman, and I was like, wait a second, maybe I don't know what it is. So thank you for that like explanation. So is there anything else that you want to share about like your journey, like what you do, like anything you have like coming up ahead or anything like that, or if people wanted to connect with you? Because I would love for people, to reach out to you, even if they have questions or something like that.
Yeah, so actually, I will be bringing my shaman here. She has 17 years of experience. She will be here holding private ceremonies for your healing and integration and just really helping you identify your path and overcoming the struggles of what you're currently going through. I am getting certified in somatic vocal coaching and creating spaces for somatic voice and sound together. I have that coming up. I will also be getting certified to facilitate plant medicine, specifically Bufo. So I'll be going to Costa Rica next month to train under her. I've been mentoring under her for the past year. So we're just going to get deeper with the medicine. And so I will be certified in that. And eventually I will host a retreat, probably in Costa Rica, since nothing is legal here. But yeah, I will be creating the space in May for when she comes here so that people can understand like what the shamanic journey is about and soul care.
Yeah. And what dates in May is that?
It'll be May 6th through the 9th.
May 6th through the 9th. Okay. And we're going to put like your contact information in the show notes so people can get that information and reach out if they are interested because I mean that sounds really like neat. It sounds very cool. I think there's a lot of people that could benefit from it and being that she's experienced and a trusted resource, I think that is really important for anybody that is interested in going that route in their healing journey. So I appreciate you sharing all of that. And like I said, I'm going to put all your contact information in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Is there anything else that you want to share before we get to our final question?
No, just thank you for the space. I am honored to talk about my journey and just walking through so many versions of myself just to come back to me. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I always love our conversations and I love, just the energy that you bring and the empowerment you bring to women. So I think of you as my teammate. So thank you for the work that you are doing. So before we end, you get to get your final question. So what is one moment in your journey when you truly tuned in, when you realized your soul was guiding you?
I would say in speaking light language. So when the language emerged back in like 2012, I didn't know what it was, but in my ceremony with the plant medicine, I started singing in ceremony and it was like my voice came from another dimension. It was like, this is your gift and you're meant to do this. Use your voice. You don't need to know the way. We'll show you the way. I will show you the way. You just need to let the sound out. Connecting to the voice and just letting it lead me, even though I didn't know what the language meant, it was like, we'll tell you what it means. Just keep speaking. And it was like this back and forth conversation. And I'm like, I think I'm going crazy. I think I'm going nuts. Like, what are you guys talking about? What is this language? And it was like, this is the language of truth. And if you want to speak it, listen first.
Could you better explain what light language is for anybody that's listening that does not understand what we're talking about here?
Yes, absolutely. So, light language is a vibrational encoded way of expression. So, you're just picking up on the frequencies and the energy around you. And also, the frequencies come from the stars, from star seeds, star planets. They also come from divine language. So, it's like a channeling transmission of energy and healing and light. So they become light codes because they come from source. And so, yeah, light language is very powerful. It's a healing modality. You can sing it. Sometimes it comes through sound, it comes through writing, it comes through imagery. So some people see geometric shapes, some people speak it. There are different dialects of light language and light codes. I'm specifically Lemurian light language. And yeah, just getting familiar with the language and just a lot of prayer and asking like, how do I navigate this? And what does this even mean? What is even happening? And the more and more I got quiet with the language, it just comes through. I just let the channel flow through me.
All right. So, like, does everybody have some sort of light language? Like, I'm out of curiosity.
I think light language can be activated, but it's a lot of soul remembrance. I think light codes can be activated with the right meditation if you know someone, but for me, it wasn't through a meditation. It was just here. Like if you don't really learn light language, you already have it. The language is revealed to you. Like I didn't just learn. It was just like the language is here. If you want to speak it, here it is. If you want to know more and you want to understand, sit quietly and wait. Like, okay.
Out of curiosity, just because I have taken people back to a Lemurian life in a past life regression, have you ever been able to go back and experience a life in Lemuria?
No, no. But now that you told me that, I'm gonna have to.
All right, girl. Well, we might have to do some work. Yeah, so I have been able in some of my past life regressions taking people to other realms, parallel universes, other worlds. And so it for me it's fascinating. I have never gone back into a life like that, but I like when people do go into these other lives, I'm like, "Tell me all the details. I need all the information." And it's so fascinating to me because these lands that we all think is fantasy, mermaids, different, beings, parallel universes, unicorns, like all this stuff, like it's real, you know? And we think it's just like something that somebody made up for a really great movie, but it came from something and it came from something real. And so it's fascinating to me. So man, if you ever want to like go and like really see where your life was and that's powerful because I have heard you use your light language and it is incredible and powerful and beautiful, and I can feel that it is healing, and I can feel that magic and that power. So I people definitely want to find you and work with you and be able to experience that light language because I mean, it's something obviously I don't do that and I'm okay with that and I don't think that's going to be something that comes to me in this lifetime, and I'm perfectly okay, but like people need to do this. They need to do this, and come and experience that with you because it is really a beautiful gift. So,
It's beautiful. It helps so many people. And I honestly, I had no idea until I started just experimenting. Like, let me just start saying some things and see how people take it. Or like, what was that? I felt something in my hands. I felt something leave my body. And I'm like, okay.
oh, yeah. I mean, when you did it the other day, I like my whole body, like it was like vibrating. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this is the coolest shit ever. I felt so powerful. Like, I'm like, literally went into like warrior princess mode. And I know that's what I said to you the other day too. I was like, that's what it felt like. I was just like, holy smokes. It was really beautiful and it was really cool and very powerful. So definitely if you're listening to this and you are curious about this form of healing and this light language, definitely please reach out to Tiffany because it is a really cool and very beautiful and very special sacred gift. And like what an honor for people to be able to receive this gift from you. Either way, Tiffany, yeah, thank you so much for joining me today and this really cool conversation. And thank you for the work that you do and the space you hold for so many women because we all need it. We all need that space and we need the support and we all need to know that we are not going through the bullshit of life alone, right?
Ashe. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiffany. And until next time on Soul Knowledge Podcast, this is Rocky signing off with Tiffany. Thank you again, Tiffany. Thank you for tuning in and for doing this work, not just for yourself, but for everyone connected to you. If this episode stirred something in you, trust that. Share it, leave a review, send it to someone whose soul needs it. Your voice and your ripple matter. And if you're ready to go deeper, to explore your past lives, heal your patterns, reconnect to your soul, or work with me one-on-one, head over to tuneintowellness.com or connect with me on Instagram. Until next time, trust what you feel, honor what you know, and remember, your soul already has the answers. Be bold, be light, be you. I'll see you next time on Soul Knowledge.